Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today I am going to be continuing my Build Newcrest Community Lots challenge, and so today I am building the retail lot. So obviously with doing retail I had a whole bunch of choices to pick from because really it's any type of store I wanted, but I wanted to do something that we didn't already have in the game in Magnolia Promenade, and something that I thought, because it's like the end of May right now when I'm filming this, so you know it's spring and people are outside working in their gardens, so I wanted to do a garden store. So this is the Quite Contrary Garden Center, which I really wanted it to be the Quite Contrary Garden Store, but that didn't all work. So, and even center I kind of had to abbreviate, but you know, it works, it's all good. So yeah, so this is our retail lot for Newcrest. So obviously I tried to make it, you know, blend in with the rest of this particular stretch of shops and stuff in Newcrest. So it's a little bit of an older style of a building, and it's a little bit more casual, I would say. It's more of like a farmhouse look. So I sort of pictured that, you know, this building has been around for a very long time. And, you know, it's an old farmhouse that got converted into a garden center. And if you look over, you can see the gym from last week and the spa from 2 weeks ago. And both of those buildings, while they're still like an older traditional style, they're a little bit more formal looking, I would say. So yeah, so it's definitely like a converted farmhouse. That's the vibe that I was going for anyways. And I use these bright green windows from Cats and Dogs, which I don't tend to use this particular color palette on these windows because they're, well, they're pretty loud, but I kind of wanted it to be like blending in with the rest of the buildings, but also standing out a little bit. Like, it's a little quirky. Like, if you've ever seen the show Gilmore Girls, which if you haven't, I recommend it highly. It's an excellent show. But you know how like some of the buildings and stuff in the town are like nicer looking than others, and then you see some and you're like, that's kind of an odd little house. So this is an odd little house is what I was going for. So I decided to have like both an indoor area and an outdoor area. So underneath those glass gazebo things from, that's not what they're called, greenhouse, that's what they're called, the glass greenhouse things from Get Together. I have some plants outside, and then inside there's like potted plants and like more decorative types of things, and also some gardening supplies as well, because you know, your Sims probably could use some gardening supplies. I also got rid of the, what are those called? Awnings? Yeah, I decided that it was too much, and then there wasn't a good spot to put the sign. I am learning by doing this little project that it is very difficult to have good signage in the game. Like, that's just not a thing that we have very much of, and a lot of the signs that I would like to use are like the kinds where instead of being flush up against the front of the building, they stick out from the side. And I don't always want that. I would rather have something like, I typically like will leave a spot on the front of a building to put the sign for the building directly on the building. How many times in a sentence can I say the word building? But there's not really that many signs in the game that are like that, which is interesting because we've actually gotten signs in several different packs, because obviously we got them with Get to Work when they put in retail in the first place. And then we got several with Dine Out for all the restaurants and stuff. We got several for Cats and Dogs with all the veterinarian stuff. But there's just, I don't know, there's still, we need more signs. I mean, we need a lot of things, but signs is one of them. And maybe it's just because I'm doing so many community lots, this has become like very obvious to me that we are lacking in signage. But yeah, there's just not enough. I need more. So the inside of this building is kind of like an old farmhouse, like I said before. It's meant to look a little bit unfinished because, you know, it's a garden center. Like, this isn't a place where you're going to find like fancy things. Like, I used the like metal racks, also from Get to Work, from the retail stuff, as like, oh hey, we can put plants for sale on this. You know, like, it's very utilitarian. It's not, the plants are supposed to be the pretty things, not the inside of the buildings, not the things that the plants are being stored on. It's supposed to be about the plants. So it's, you know, it's kind of meant to look a little bit rough around the edges. But I think overall it's a pretty good vibe. Like, I haven't spent a ton of time in garden stores. Well, for somebody who owns a home, I haven't spent nearly enough time in garden stores. Like, admittedly, I am not much of a gardener. I try, but I do have a tendency to kill plants, which my family always likes to tease me because, so my grandparents once, when I was like in middle school, they gave me a plant in a coffee mug as like a present or something. And it was like, just like this little green, like leafy plant. Like, it was supposed to be like this kind of plant that was basically unkillable. And for a while, that's true. It was unkillable. And I had it sitting out on my desk and I would water it. But then my desk got messy. And so when I went to clean off my desk, I needed a supposed temporary spot to put the plant while I cleaned off the rest of the desk. And the only empty spot in my bedroom, because my bedroom growing up was kind of messy, was on a shelf in my closet. So you can see where this is going. I put the plant on a shelf in my closet, continued cleaning off the rest of my desk, and then promptly forgot about the plant on the shelf in my closet for a couple of months. I don't know, it was a messy closet, and I just forgot about it. I never really thought about it again, and eventually I did go back and I realized, like, uh-oh, well, the plant's dead, you know, like, ugh. So, yeah, my family likes to bring that story up to embarrass me and tease me, which I don't really care anymore. It's fine. Like, I've accepted my fate as a plant killer. It's cool. I get it. That's my thing. But, yeah, for a while it did kind of upset me a little bit, like, I mean, I don't know, it's just a plant. I do have this problem where I tend to forget about taking care of things if they don't move a bunch, or especially if they don't make noise. Like, fish or, like, rodents. Ugh. I'm really not good at remembering to feed them, like, on my own without being reminded, because I don't hear them. And especially the fish. I mean, at least the, you know, like gerbils and hamsters and stuff, like, oh, I might hear them running in their wheel or something, but nope, not so much. I mean, like, I've never intentionally hurt one of them, so it's fine, but there have been a few times where it's been like, oh man, I should probably take care of you. It's been a little while. But like with my dog, no problem at all, because if we don't feed her, she tells us. Like, she gets very upset. So, yeah, I don't know. So plants fall into that category, though. Like, I just sort of forget about them. Or, like, this always happens. So, as I said before, I'm a homeowner. And I don't really plant flowers, necessarily, because that's a lot of work. And I have a lot of allergies, so I don't really like being outside for very long. Because it's really difficult for me to breathe out there. But, so I do have, like, you know, I'll have a couple of plants in, like, a planter box, or, like, a hanging baskets of flowers are, like, God's gift to homeowners who don't have green thumbs. They are so easy to take care of, and they look really, really nice, and it is the best thing. I love hanging baskets of flowers. I wish we had more of them in The Sims. I know we have some, and actually I do put some in this build, but we don't have enough. I would like more of that too, please. But yeah, so where was I going with this? Homeowner, hanging flowers. Oh, so every year though, I always buy flowers around this time of year, because, you know, it's actually, like, consistently warm. Like, believe it or not, we actually did have some snow here at the beginning of April. It was not good. I was not a fan. But, so I generally try to wait, like, between, like, Mother's Day, which is, like, mid-May, and Memorial Day, which is the last weekend of May, to buy any sort of, like, flowers or anything. So it's, like, around this time of year. Like, actually, I was literally 10 minutes before I started filming this, telling my husband that I'm going to go buy flowers next weekend. But so I always get really enthusiastic and excited when I first buy them, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna water them every single morning, and you know, this is gonna be the year. This is gonna be the year that I don't kill my plants before the end of the summer. And it almost never happens that way. Usually by like, I would say like around July, I start to see like some problems happening with my plants, or more likely with my care of them. But, well, okay. So 3 years ago, we were still living in an apartment, and for Easter that year, my mom had given us a few different herbs, like, I don't even remember, it was like basil and two other types of herbs. There were 3 different types of herbs, all in little pots. And because we didn't have, like, we had a little patio at our apartment, but we didn't really have a like proper outdoor space. So that way then I still had some little plants to take care of, because my mom, really most people in my family are good about plants, it's just me who kind of is terrible. But so she was trying to encourage me to be better about taking care of plants. So she gave me herbs as a present, and I was doing actually really, really good about taking care of them, and you know, they were alive, all was well. And then at the end of August, we went to go house sit and dog sit for my in-laws at their house. And so we stayed at their house because we were like, oh, you guys have this nice brand new house and we have this crappy apartment that we hate. So we're just going to live at your house while we're house sitting. And while we were gone, in August, mind you, in Ohio, we had a cold snap. It got down to like 40 degrees overnight. And of course, we weren't at our apartment. We were like an hour away. So like we didn't have a chance to go back and put away our herbs, and we came back and they were all dead. So that was not good. I mean, but like that really wasn't our fault necessarily, because like it was kind of a situation that was out of our control. Because seriously, August here, it's normally like in the 80s and 90s with like high humidity. The fact that it got down to be like 40 degrees overnight one night, I don't even know of any other time in my life, and I've only lived, well, for the most part, I've only lived in Ohio. That has never ever happened before, so I was like shocked. But other than that, most of the time when I kill my plants, I fully accept responsibility. But that was not me. That was Mother Nature being upset with us. So I don't accept responsibility for that one. So anyways, back to our build here. So now in this outdoor area, I'm doing like different types of plants. I tried to do flowers on one side and bushes and trees and stuff on the other, and I sort of kind of grouped them together. So like, for example, the plants from Jungle Adventure are all near each other. Oh yes, so this little like trellisy thing, I really wanted to make sure that I put it in the build somewhere because I really like that object and I don't use it. And so at first I was like, oh, we could put it over the front door. But no, it really didn't fit there at all. And then I was going to use it instead of like the leafy archway things. Uh-oh. Dang it, why do I always yawn doing voiceovers? This is so bad. But so then I decided like, okay, this is going to be the entrance to the greenhouse area. So that's where I put my little trellis. It makes me happy. I like that object a lot, and I don't know, I don't tend to use it all that often. So yeah, and then I put in, you know, a lot of little like fountains and decoration-y things, and I wanted to do like a whole room of just fountains, but it turns out those fountain objects take up a lot of space. So I didn't, but each of the rooms really has their own fountain, and then there's a fountain outside. So, you know, the fountain thing, it continues on. I love fountains. I like water features in general. Usually what ends up happening too when my husband and I go shopping for plants around this time of year is that the garden store we go to has all these like pretty outdoor fountains, and I'm like, hey, who's gonna put a fountain in our backyard? And it hasn't happened yet. I honestly don't think it ever will, but I like fountains a lot, you guys. So anyways, this is the Quite Contrary Garden Center, which, by the way, I don't know that I actually said this earlier, but it's a reference to the old like poem/nursery rhyme that goes, Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? It's that. But anyways, so it is available for download on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it. either using the hashtag MrsTomato1018 or my username MrsTomato1018. Or you can find it through the link in the description box below this video. So if you like this video, which I hope you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, you can do so down below. I put out a new video every single day, Monday through Friday, and make sure you turn on that little bell icon so you get notifications every time that I post a video, because right now I usually use the Twitter thing to update when videos come out, but it hasn't been working, so make sure you turn on notifications. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!